Hey, hi ladies. How are you this morning? Danielle Cotis here. I'm your new mom coach expert. I coach new moms how to let go of the guilt, gain more energy, and ditch that anxiety and depression to the curb. I specialize in helping new moms heal from postpartum depression and anxiety naturally. So today we're going to talk about a really touchy subject. I'm sure it's going to hit home with a lot of you right now. So we're going to talk about how to deal with intrusive thoughts that are caused by postpartum depression and anxiety. So what I mean by intrusive thoughts, it's really just really scary thoughts. And before we go into it, I just want to remind you that 90% of new parents experience these scary and intrusive thoughts, according to Psychology Today. And about 57% of women who have postpartum depression and anxiety experience these thoughts. And these are just statistics that, people are, when they're honest about how they're feeling. So I have a feeling that it's much higher than that. So really, what we're dealing with is a really high number of parents experiencing these intrusive thoughts. So it can be anything, honestly, literally under the sun. But I'll give you some examples of them that I've experienced and that my clients and, that other women who have postpartum depression and anxiety have experienced. So it can be things like, you're worried that your baby will die of SIDS, and you are envisioning that they're going to wake up blue or dead, and you're constantly checking that bassinet or the crib like 100 times a night, or you're just like staring at them. And I used to poke my son to be like, oh my God, is he alive? Is he alive? So I'm laughing now, but I'm serious. Like, I was really bugged out. Like, I thought he was going to die. Like, I was like, what if he stops breathing? Like, what do I do then? So I would stay up all night and really be like, oh my God, something is going to happen to him. He's going to roll over. He's going to suffocate himself. It could be things like, you feel like when you're driving and you're driving with the baby in the car, no baby in the car, you envision yourself just hitting the car in front of you, or driving off a cliff, or hitting the tree, and what would happen if you guys just died, and who would care if you guys just died. A lot of women have intrusive thoughts about throwing their baby down the stairs or burning them in the bathtub. Other things include accidentally shaking your baby to death. You could have anything from, just disappearing. What would happen if you just disappeared, or you just killed yourself, or you accidentally killed your baby. It could be anything from homicide to murder. It literally, it can be that you have, you're breastfeeding and you have this sexual feeling towards your baby, or this weird sexual thoughts towards your baby. It could be anything. I mean, I can go on and on for hours about how this feels. And it could be that, you're not a good enough mom, that, bad moms have scary thoughts. If I was a good mom, I wouldn't have these thoughts. I must be a horrible person for feeling this way, or even thinking this way, or envisioning things like that. It can be really scary when you see a flash of something where, you see yourself throw the baby out the window, or you have to hide the knives in the house because you're not sure what you're going to do with the knives. Excuse me. There's so many different scenarios that moms, especially with postpartum depression, but all moms in general, have some of these intrusive thoughts on a day-to-day basis, and sometimes multiple times throughout the day. And it can be really, really, really scary. I know I was really afraid to tell anybody the thoughts that were going through my mind. And it could be just about the baby, or it could be about yourself. Like I told you before, I had suicidal thoughts or suicidal tendencies, and I would see things. It's almost kind of like you're hallucinating. It's more of an outer body experience where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I just had that thought. And then because you had this thought, you're focusing on it. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm such a bad mom, or this is disgusting, or this is horrible, or I would never do this. And you start to get worried about these thoughts. I mean, it's fucking scary. It's so scary. And you are afraid to tell a therapist, or you're afraid to tell your doctor, or you're afraid to tell your husband, or you're afraid to tell your friends that you're having these scary thoughts. And I want to let you know that this is sort of a natural phenomenon. And the reason that we have this, according to Psychology Today, is that, you know, we are on this high alert as moms or dads in general. So we're on this high alert, like always looking for dangerous circumstances because we want to protect our child. So I want you to understand that the reason they're so vivid or the reason they're so intrusive is because you're on this high alert and your fight or flight system is like running at this high level and you're constantly looking for danger. So a lot of moms have these thoughts about having other people watch their kids. You know, they might kill their kid, or there's lots of germs, or you know, people can't take care of them, or what if they die in the company of somebody else? And it's because you're so worried that something's going to happen to them. And so you're constantly like foreseeing the future of these possible negative circumstances, and you're basically trying to protect your child. So I don't want you to feel so bad about these negative thoughts. You know, good moms have scary thoughts, and that's from Instagram, postpartumstress.com. They really talk about, you know, sharing your truth, or speak the secret is their hashtag. And it's really all about their book. They have good moms have scary thoughts, and this is a normal thing. The problem becomes when it becomes obsessive about it, when you become obsessed with these negative thoughts and you focus so much on them. And, you know, your whole intention and your whole life revolves around, why am I having these negative thoughts? Why are they here? You know, why am I thinking these disgusting things, or these horrible things, or these dangerous things? And, you know, this isn't me. This isn't me. So I must be a bad mom because I have these intrusive thoughts. And I want to get into a little bit of how we can try to, I wouldn't say stop them, but accept them. Excuse me. So the first thing that you really want to realize is that you need to accept the thought for what it is. Just a thought, right? It is just a thought. It is not who you are. It is not your authentic self. It is not your soul, your wonderful God-given soul that's having these thoughts. It is just a thought, and you have to accept it for what it is, just a thought. And the problem happens is when we try to push them away, or try to pretend they're not there, and beat ourselves up because we have this thought. So really what I want you to do is get in the habit of accepting the fact that this is just a thought. So one of the tips that you can do is, if you're having the thought, you can sit there and be like, oh my God, this is horrible. I want you to continue to have the thought. Continue to let it sort of play out. And then I want you to be like, okay, this is just a thought. This is not a real thought. This is not going to happen. And this is just a symptom of either being a new mom, or this is a symptom of my postpartum depression. This is not me. So accept the fact that this is the thought and move on. John Assaraf talks about that if you sit with a thought for 90 to 120 seconds, a thought or that feeling or that, that fear and that anxiety or whatever it is, if you sit with it, which is the hardest thing, which builds self-awareness, if you sit with it for that amount of time, it is scientifically proven to lift up and move on, to get out of your body. So keep that in mind when you start to have these thoughts. And I wish I knew this, that's why I'm sharing it with you, is if you just sit with it and let it play out, tell yourself this is just a symptom of my being a new mom. This is a symptom of, my postpartum depression and anxiety. You want to sit with it and then let it release. Another thing you can do is distract yourself. So if you're having that thought and it's really just too much for you to sit with at that point in time, because you will have to sit with it at some point, you can distract yourself with something that, really moves your mind. So something like Sudoku, or some sort of like word puzzle, or scroll through Facebook or Instagram, something to take your mind off of that thought. If it's so intrusive for you and you just can't handle the thought that you're having. The third thing you want to do is I talk a lot about it. It's EFT. It's emotional freedom technique. It's tapping. It's awesome. It's accepting the thought, moving through the thought, letting that energy pass through you. So a real quick thing that you can do while you're sitting with the thought and that feeling that you're having and that disgust and that guilt and upsettingness is you can just tap on what they call the karate chop point and just say, even though I'm having this intrusive thought right now, I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. And if that's too much for you to say, you can just say, even though I'm having this horrible thought right now, I accept that I'm having this thought. And you're going to do this about 3 times, right? And just keep tapping on this point. And the more specific you get, the better it is for you. So if you want to say, even though I'm having this thought about killing my baby, I accept that this is just a thought. And you can say, I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. So what you're telling your body is that it's all right that you're having the thought that you're having right now. And that no matter what, you're going to accept it for what it is, that it's just a thought. And then I want you to tap through the points and just say, this thought, this terrible thought, and go through the point, this horrible intrusive thought that I'm having. And you can really say anything. You could say what the thought is and tap through the points as you're going through it. This really horrible intrusive thought I'm having, it makes me feel sick. It makes me feel disgusting. This thought that I'm having, you're tapping on your collarbone, underneath your armpit, underneath your arm rather, this thought. And then you can tap the top of your head, this thought that I'm having. And really what this is doing is helping your body to just accept the fact that you're feeling this way. Let the thought pass through, just like John Asraf saying, when you just sit with a thought for 120 seconds. This is moving it a little bit faster for you, and it kind of gives you a chance to just say that, acknowledge that the thought is there, and kind of move on from there. And the fourth thing that you can really do is really start meditating. The Expectful app, I talk about it a lot. It's awesome. You could do 3 minutes, you could do 5 minutes, take a YouTube video, whatever. I wouldn't do this while the thought is happening. I would try to do this once a day. This way you can be more aware of your thoughts throughout the day. So noticing that these intrusive thoughts are just thoughts. They are not who you are. You have nothing to feel guilty about. This is something that is natural. It happens to 90% of new parents. So know that this is just a thought. It's not who you are, and the thought will pass as long as you accept the fact that this is a thought. So meditation helps you to become aware of these thoughts and learn how to kind of push them to the side and accept them for what they are, just thoughts. And they're not true thoughts that you're having. Like, most women aren't going to stab their baby to death, right? You're not going to do that. And the fact that you're worried about the intrusive thoughts means that you're a great mother, means that you're a good mother. It would mean something different if you were like planning to act on that. So accept the fact that these are these thoughts. Start doing some meditation. And I think I have one more. The fifth one, I don't know what it is right now. So we did the EFT, sitting with the thought, accepting the fact that it is just a thought. We're talking about meditation, and we did distraction. I'm trying to think if there's another one. I think that's all I can remember right now. So just really realize that if these thoughts are so overpowering right now, and you can't get control over it, and it becomes this obsessive thing, you definitely have to go get some help. So I would call a hotline if you're afraid to go to the doctor. There's tons of numbers that you can call out there. I think there's 1-800 PPD mom that you can call. There's so many resources out there. The best thing you can do is start telling people how you feel. Start telling your husband this is the thought that you had. Start telling your mom that did you experience something like this? Talk to other moms about if they had any other intrusive thoughts. You are not alone. There's doctors out there that can help you. There's tons of psychologists, counselors. Start reaching out for help if the thoughts are so overpowering that you don't know what to do. You really need to start getting the help that you need so that you can learn how to control them a little bit better, learn how to accept them a little bit better. Excuse me. So please reach out for some help. Try these techniques and know that you are not alone in this endeavor, and know that this is a natural phenomenon because we're on such high alert all the time and we're always looking out for the danger. So when we can calm ourselves down and we can notice that it's just a thought, they start to disappear. And that's what I want for you. I want you to know that you're not a bad mom for having these intrusive thoughts. It does not define you as a person. Good moms have scary thoughts. We have bad thoughts at times, and this is just something that happens, and it's scientifically known that this is what we go through. So please know that you can get rid of them, that you can start learning about them, that you can start accepting them, and this is a natural part of becoming a mother. The problem is when they're just so overwhelming, you can't get control over anything. Okay, so please reach out if you are really struggling or you're thinking about, suicidal thoughts or something like that, to the doctor, hotlines, anything like that. All right, I hope this video was super helpful. If it was, please give me a thumbs up or a big heart. Please share with your friends and your mommy groups. We really want to spread as much awareness around postpartum depression and anxiety as possible and get all those tools and resources out to the world. Please like me on Instagram, The Unfamiliar Mom. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Danielle Cotis, and like my fan page on Facebook, The Unfamiliar Mom. And if you need any help, please book a call with me, theunfamiliarmom.com/book, or you can go at the top of my fan page and book a call, and we can talk about what you're going through and how I can help you, and if working together is a great fit. Enjoy your day, ladies. Thank you so much.